Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Real Producers Live, DFW's Real Estate's Best. I'm Lyndon Wilson, creator of Thedifference, and I am here to introduce the three hosts of these shows that we have every month. And so I'm going to bring them in just a second. But first, I wanted to talk just a little bit about what we do at Thedifference. Thedifference was created specifically for small businesses to help them connect and expand their brand and visibility with the communities that they work in and their neighborhoods. And when I was able to be introduced to Jordan Espaceth, who is the owner of Real Producers here in the DFW Metroplex, I was really intrigued by their format of what they do with their business. And, I wanted to partner with him. We have a lot of synergy in what we're doing. They have a great show. They work within the real estate industry, and they do a great job of showing how to make connections that help you build and grow your business. So having said that, I'm going to bring them all three in now. We've got Rachelle, we got Jordan, and we have Lance. Hello. Here they are. Surprise, by the way. I brought you all three in at the same time. If I hadn't got so chatty early, I was going to tell y'all I thought it would be a good idea to just go ahead and bring everybody in now. But you're all pros. You handled it well.
I think we need a Three Amigos kind of an entrance, though, kind of a whatever that.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. I think you need to do that. That needs to be the new intro.
Or start Lance with a song. Just saying, he sent me a birthday song to the group chat the other week, and I'm telling you, he's got skills.
All right.
Does he? Does he? Okay, so we're finding out stuff all the time. So thank you for that, Rachelle. I will mention that the next time that Lance is hosting, and I'll make sure that his guests know too. So I love all these secrets.
Yeah, I'll sing him happy birthday any day. Doesn't even have to be their birthday.
So you know all the words to the song then, right, Lance?
Most of them.
So Jordan, what's going on with you, man? Another day in paradise?
Another day in paradise. Yes, sir. Nope. Excited for, we got a big day tomorrow. So excited to chat about what we got going on tomorrow. And always fun to get the gang back on this podcast just to talk about some different things that are on their mind. And we got some good things we want to chat about today. So I'm excited to get rocking and rolling.
Before we get started, I see over, I guess it'd be your left shoulder, a thermometer back there on the wall. I know you talked about it in one of your shows, but I think that's really cool. For anybody that may be watching and not know what that is, share a little bit about what that is, because you guys do such a good job of structure, planning, organization. It's phenomenal what you're doing. And the only reason I mention that is because for all of us, when we started doing Thedifference, we wanted to find the things that kind of were identifiers of people that were doing an exceptional job. A lot of us, myself included, a lot of us work really, really hard, and we can't seem to find that elite level sometimes. And then you look around and you see these other people that aren't working, any harder than you, but they always seem to have, be able to accomplish and achieve those goals. And we wanted to be able to identify that. A lot of it is structure, process, organization. And so, Jordan, you've built this culture within the Real Producers in the DFW area of organization and structure, motivation, all those things. So talk about that thermometer, if you don't mind, just real quick.
Yeah, well, one of my coaches is Wayne Salmons, and he guided me, and I thought it was such a great idea, because if you're not tracking your goals, then you're missing the boat. If we look at people that are some of the most successful people, they not only know their goals, they're very clear about their goals, but they see them every day and they think about them often, right? And so I was talking with Wayne, and he's like, you need a visual for yourself, and so you can see it. And we started thinking about back in, like, I remember in grade school and stuff like that, when you'd have you're raising money for fundraisers and stuff, and they get the big thermometer and they color it in and everything. And I was like, I'm going to do that. And I had childish nature to myself. And so I was like, let's do that. And so that right there is, any organization they have goals, right? And so, as that goes up, we just expanded to 3 different markets. We have a lot of growth that we want to do within our organization. And, and the more that goes up, the more we know that the better we're doing, the more people we're helping. And so, you know, it's been great for me just to have that constantly top of mind. And you know, to me, that it shows the health of real producers. And you know, since we just expanded, we have a lot more growth that can happen, and that's exciting to be in an organization that is on a growth trajectory is a big challenge, but it's also a lot of fun. And so
yeah,
that's my thermometer.
And
So you
shout out. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Rachelle. I was just going to say real quick.
Yeah.
Jordan mentioned Wayne Salmons, and I guess you mean the real low energy Wayne Salmons, right? The guy that just kind of all laid back.
That's the one. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Rachelle?
No, I was just going to say shout out to Kimberly Rumfield, who's you know, one of the most successful in DFW real estate agent, and she also uses a thermometer to track her goals and her growth, and so it works.
Yeah,
it does work. It does work. So we finished up last month with you know, your 4 shows, and y'all, again, incredible guests, incredible high energy guests, productive people, all the things that, as I was talking about, Jordan, the culture that you want to be synonymous when people see that RP logo. And those are the type of people that you bring on. And there's a reason why you guys are doing so good and why they do so good. When you look at those similarities and those characteristics and those fundamentals, it becomes obvious at that point why people achieve what they do. And so just wanted to let everybody know you guys had some rock stars, you know, this past month. I know you've got some rock stars coming up, but I know y'all have some events coming up too that you want to talk about. So I want to give you guys time to talk a little bit about what happened last month, what your events are going to be, and what you have planned for this month. And I'm going to step out while y'all do that and let y'all just talk about real producers.
Yeah, it's our favorite topic. So, well, I know my show, I know I had, you know, Sean, Nita, Ken Callahan with Republic Title, and we had Travis Pitt with Rogers Healy that was on that show. They worked together, and so just a blast. You know, we've been wanting to get partnered up with Republic for a super long time. They're, you know, one of the most highly recommended, not just title companies, but companies in general in the DFW Metroplex and stuff. Super excited to have those guys on and to hear how they've run their organization. I think in Collin County, Republic has like 37% of the market share or something like that for all title business. And so they're awesome. And they've figured out what the difference is for them, right? And so had a great show with those guys. And I just called my guest for next week, who I'm super excited about, big fan. So tune in next week for my surprise guest that's coming on. But Rachelle, why don't you talk about who you had on very quickly last week?
Yeah. No, and I just have to comment on Republic Title meeting with Sean and Ken the other week. It is very impressive, the culture Republic Title has built. And I know we're going to be talking about that a little bit today on the show about the power of connection, the power of community. And it speaks for itself, you know, when an organization like a business like Republic Title has growth like that. Again, just hearing of the culture they make, that they've been voted past many years, you know, best workplace and things like that. It's neat. But I had another awesome business leader in business, Dan Carson with Willow Bend Mortgage, and Lauren Rockwell, who is actually, we featured her as a rising star some time ago for Dallas Real Producers. And it just was amazing hearing about how they work together, you know, how they work as individuals, and just from their personal stories. It was, as I'm sure Lendon can chime in, super inspiring. And
it was inspiring. Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there are people watching that felt inspired to maybe make a career shift or change for them, as they just both came to a place in their lives where they they were challenged by someone in their life, and they made a shift career-wise. And I mean, look where they are now. And so super enjoyed talking to both of them.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, Dan's a good man. And in fact, that reminds me that I need to call Dan because him and I are supposed to meet up.
Yes.
So, good reminder. Lance, tell us about your show.
Man, it was a blast. We had Tom Hines with Allegiance and Blair Raggio, if I get that right, who is she is, I think, going to be kind of running the show there at some point. But such a impressive group. Tom is, of course, the North or the Tarrant County rep, and man, he's just built a career out of helping people out of tough spots. What I really learned from that conversation with his guest, Mark with B Realty, was just how much he goes to bat for his folks. And he's that guy that, and I think a lot of Allegiance has built their title company around a lot of different, product lines or, different ways to solve problems for people. But Mark is the guy that gets all the problem children. He reminds me, in fact, of one of my old junior high coaches that just kind of comes off a little, gruff, but he's the guy that gets you to do stuff and gets you over the goal line. And I think he does that with his clients and for his clients. They hand him some of the hard stuff, and other title companies refer the tough cases to him as well. So, but they've got a long history. Just Mark, our agent, was got a history back in jewelry, I guess, and I think that's how they met. Was Mark needed a diamond made for his engagement or something like that. Do you remember all that, Lyndon?
Yeah, you're exactly right. That's a great memory. But you're right, and I have to agree with you. He's a no nonsense guy, which is what you need if you have tough deals to get done. You need that guy that's going. Okay, he's got that fighter's mentality, and he was a great guy. Really, really. I mean, like I said, I have the greatest job in the world because I get to meet so many people and listen to these incredible stories of perseverance, determination, knowledge, intelligence. It's just all of these things that they've done to fight to be where they are. And, when we talk about humanizing the brand versus commercializing it, those are the stories that help us realize that these guys are just like us. They're just like us, and they're tough and they're fighters, and they just, Jordan, you've got that one thing that you talk about, the motivator, right? What motivates you is it's what the fear or the pleasure or the pain. Right. Yep. Right. And I relate to the pain. I don't want to feel the pain anymore. And so you listen to some of these stories, and sometimes they can be gut wrenching. Yeah. They can actually be gut wrenching. And then you realize that, man, I didn't have it as bad as I thought I did. So I need to quit feeling sorry for myself and go back and get in the fight again. Right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yes. Some of the folks that we meet with, it is so inspiring. Whatever you may wake up with to complain about, by the end of the day, after meeting with some of these agents and our partners, it's like, I just need to keep my mouth shut the rest of the day.
Yeah.
You know what though? Go ahead, Jordan.
I had to wait in line for 15 minutes for Starbucks yesterday, Lance. So
I was telling him the Starbucks line can be a dangerous place. Doing one of those, you might not come out.
So life was pretty tough yesterday for me. No, I'm kidding. It does when you're sitting in line, because it got me frustrated. But it's a good reminder. You're sitting in line waiting, or you're sitting in traffic, and you want to get upset about that. And it's we hear a lot of cool stories, tough stories and stuff, where we put it all into perspective a little bit. So blessed to hear these stories that we get to. Amazing people each and every week.
And it's not always the near-death experiences. Those are inspiring and overcoming. But the people that just get up and get to work every day and don't make excuses, that's what's inspiring. They may not have, some tragedy that they've overcome, but they have just gotten up and got to work every day. And that to me is those are some of the
that's who you want to hire. That's who you want to work with, right? Whether it's someone that you're hiring to sell your house, to help you find a house, or it's whether you may be a roofer that wants to partner with a real estate agent. I want the fighters. I want the ones with no quit in them. And that's a common denominator for everybody you bring on this show. I mean, Jordan, you're the same way, man. Your story is a lot like all the people that you bring on this this show. All of you have this story of perseverance, and I love that.
Well, so does Lance, so does Rachelle. I mean, we all have,
Yep.
you know, we're all fighters, and we all have pushed through. And I mean, if anyone's lived a life and you're here today, we've had some struggles, right? And you know, I'm just blessed to be with some people that I have so much love and respect for. And so it's a blessing. We really do. I agree with you, Landon. I also feel like I have one of the best jobs in the world, and just very blessed, very grateful. And you know, life can change super quick. And so you gotta just feel blessed for what we all have. We have our health and the relationships and our jobs, and COVID's leaving us, and there's a lot of things to be grateful for. And it's, you know, it can all change super, super quick. So, yeah, just someone made a post the other day. They said, "What are you grateful for? Or what? Tell me something exciting." And I said, "I woke up today." And so, you know, it's always
perspective. Yeah.
So, but I'm excited. I want to chat a little bit because I'm excited about what we got going on tomorrow, and the kind of the topic that we want to chat about is. So we have our very first ever launch party for Tarrant Real Producers tomorrow. And we're going to tie in a little bit about the events that we do, but about Real Producers and the power of connection. I actually have a publisher's note. If you guys read the last publisher's note that I wrote, it was about the power of connection. And so I'm excited. Yeah, Lance, go ahead, bring it up.
Look at that right there.
There it is. The power of connection, right next to Justin Padron with Cross Country Mortgage. And so I love it. And I was actually thinking about this because I was talking with I was on a meeting earlier today, and I was telling the guy that my very first ever launch party, which was for Tarrant Real Producers, Lance was there. Lance is actually a sponsor of that event. I don't know if you remember that, Lance. You were a sponsor of our very first ever North DFW Real Producers event. This was the first Real Producers event that ever hit Dallas, Fort Worth. And that was November 13th, I believe, of 2018. And it was right over here at the Star, Cowboy at the Star. And I just remember for myself personally, it was a moment that I'll never forget. But for a lot of people that were at that event, I just, you know, I don't even think we had 200 people there, but it felt like everybody in the world was there, and everybody who was a who's there. And I remember Colleen Frost came up to me at that event, our second ever cover story, just a rock star agent, and she was at that event, and she's just like, what's going on here? Like, it was one of the first times really ever in DFW where you get that caliber of agent along with the best businesses all in a room to network and to get to meet each other and to grow relationships. And it was just such a unique experience for not only myself, but for anyone I've been in the real estate industry for a long, long time. And I just, from so many people, they were just like, this is incredible. And I attribute it to the platform. I really do. The platform of Real Producers is so unique. And it happens not just in Dallas, and it happens in San Diego, it happens in Houston, it happens in Orlando, right? It's the concept of Real Producers is so solid, and bringing together the best agents and the best businesses, and the power of connection with that is incredible. And so I was just reflecting back, Lance. I don't know, do you remember that? I mean, that event was
my
awesome.
gosh. Well, Jordan, right before that event in September is Realtor Safety Month. And we had held, do you remember this? Because you actually came to my event. We had a Realtor Safety event that we had been promoting for 2 months, you know, and we had these speakers lined up all day. It was CE classes, everything. We've been working so hard. Do you remember how many people showed up?
Well, it was a rainy day, so.
No, it was dismal. It was so bad. I mean, it was a combination of a few things, but it was also sort of, you know, kind of par for the course, because I've done so many different realtor events as a business owner, either sponsored them or hosted them, and to get 50 agents to show up was a trick in itself. And maybe 2 or 3 out of that 50 were top agents. So your event, it just blew my mind. I could not believe when I walked in the room and I'm like, how did he pull this off? Like, just, I really, at that point, knew that I was in a community that was very, very unique, very special. But as much as I attribute that to Real Producer, I really do attribute that to your perception, your understanding of the power of connection, and making sure that all of our partners, the partners really felt valued, and that our agents as well, that we really were creating a community of the best, because I don't know that happens everywhere. I really don't. As much as I'd like to think it does, I think it really has to do a lot with you, because I had not seen anything like that before. So, I always kind of tell the story of you just blowing into DFW, with the north wind at your back, and and creating this community out of nowhere, out of thin air, and really, really is amazing.
And I'll jump in there, because I was not there from the beginning. I had no idea Jordan, Lance, Real Producers, any of that existed, coming from East Texas. But I just joined the team, for those watching that don't know, in the fall of 2020. And it's just neat hearing from this side, coming when Real Producers has been a thing for a couple years, is flourishing. And now I'm meeting with people who knew of Jordan in the beginning, who perhaps were approached about being a part of the community, were not so sure, but now they're like, oh my goodness, it's amazing what's been done. And exactly like you were saying, Lance, just the high caliber of community that have gathered, as we have talked about, these top agents, top 1% to 2%, if they're going to take time away from their work, away from their family, to come to an event, they don't want to just come to some happy hour. They want to be around those of their same caliber. And that's, again, the great thing about Real Producers. And I'm hearing that from both, top businesses that I'm meeting with, to top agents who, heard about it in the beginning. I think of Renuka, who wasn't so sure, but now she's like one of the biggest fans of you, Jordan, and of Real Producers. And it's just saying, like, this is incredible and amazing. And so it's neat. And it truly is, going back to what we're talking about today, the power of connection. And I agree with what Lance said. Jordan, you're very good at connecting people. And certainly Real Producers would not be where it is today without someone at the helm, who has that ability to connect people so well. And so, yeah, I definitely think it all goes back to the power of connection. And similarly, I'll say too, those are part of our community. We have such a great community, all 3 of our territories. And it's
easy.
Yeah, it's exciting seeing what's happening, and just people, again, are excited to gather. Why did we have close to 300 at our last event, during still a pandemic? It's because the power of connection, the power of community, and that this is a very unique community. It's not casting the net wide, but no, we understand that where people are in life, they need those that are running that same race, so to speak, at that same pace. It's so important to have community, and it's happening, and why we're excited for the Tarrant launch party tomorrow. We know many Tarrant top agents have been waiting for this, and so yeah.
What's exciting? That's a great point, Rachelle. And what's exciting is that we look at the thermometer in the back. That's an indicator of a lot of different things, and what it also shows me is there's so much more community. I look at we're half capacity on community in terms of the level of engagement we're going to be having within Real Producers. I mean, we're still at this time next year. I mean, you guys just wait till our event in November. I can't wait for that. But the level of engagement, the level of just connection that's going to be able to come through our platform. There's so much growth to be we've had such amazing events, and it really has taken grip, and it's starting to take more. It's getting more and more traction. That's what I love about it, and that's why when I had that first event over at Concrete Cowboy in 2018, I did not know that. I mean, I was like, I feel like these agents like me. I feel like they like the concept of real producers. We've had 4 publications that have came out. We have 260 people registered for the event. And I was sitting there 5 minutes before 5 o'clock, 5 minutes before the event was about to start. Not one person but me, my helper, and like the staff at Concrete Cowboy. And I literally went to the bathroom and because I didn't know. I mean, it's your first event. You do not know. And, you know, you're just praying that it's going to be something that people show up for. Maybe people are big talkers. I don't know. I've never done this before. And so I'm in the bathroom. I went in the bathroom 5 minutes before, not a single person in line. And I was like starting to like, I was like, I felt like I was going to puke. I was legit uncomfortable. I was like, no one's going to show up. It's going to be a huge disaster. You know, you have those fears in your mind. And I remember walking out of the bathroom 5 minutes later and there's about 50 people in line. And then it would just start backing up and the place got packed. And it was, to me, that was the moment where I was like, this is going to be something here in DFW. And that it was that one moment. It was like, this is going to be very, very cool. And it's cool to see through the events that we've had in Rachelle. I just realized this, by the way, our July issue, that's number 36. That's 3. That's 3 years. And so we got to make sure we notify on the publication.
Yeah.
That's a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we've had so many amazing events, so many charities that we've helped, and so many just cool things that have happened in the last 2 years. And I can't wait to see what's coming tomorrow. And I want Lance to touch on a little bit because tomorrow is going to be a very cool day. And I can't wait. So Lance, why don't you fill in, for those people that do not know at the moment, what is tomorrow exactly?
Tomorrow is June 3rd. Thursday, June 3rd. It is our first ever Tarrant Real Producers event. And it's at the T&P Tavern in downtown Fort Worth. T&P Tavern is the Texas and Pacific Railroad. Used to be the headquarters. This beautiful old building that was built back in the 30s or 40s, and just this Art Deco scene where so much business transpired and so many people came through on the way to somewhere else, usually the West Coast, usually to California or wherever. They would stop through there, so it's a great business center. I've spoken to so many different agents in the last few weeks that have been to events there and just are blown away by the venue. And what's so cool, if you don't want to drive, you can take the train. It is the last stop on the train. So if you're in North Denton County, you could hop on anywhere between Grapevine and downtown Fort Worth and just get off right there. And then it's just a short Uber home. But it's just such a cool venue, and it's got just this iconic classic style about it that I think says so much about our community. There's so much depth in Tarrant County and so much rich history, and I think it's just a great place to start, to launch with our big event. So
I hear there are a lot of trains.
What's that?
I hear there's something with trains there.
Yeah, it's the old train station. So it is just the. I mean, it is so cool. I mean, you'll get a kick out of it.
I'm excited to see it.
But so it starts at 5 o'clock sharp, 5 to 7, and of course we've got some great our main sponsors. Of course, we've got Boston National Title of Texas, Cherry Creek Mortgage. Help me out, Jordan. Who else are our big sponsors? Proco Roofing,
and HomeServe Warranty.
What's it? HomeServe. Yeah, that's right. Formerly Nations, but HomeServe Warranty. So they're the folks that have really kind of helped us pull together. But all of our sponsors coming, and of course the folks that we have featured over the last few months in the magazine from March up until this June, which we're excited to be sort of pulling the curtain back and announcing who our June feature is at the event. So it's gonna be exciting.
Yeah.
And you know, so this event, very first one for Tarrant, I wrote in the publisher's note a little bit about the power of connection. And I remember our last event. There you go, Landon. Look at him, pull it up. Look how savvy he is.
Woo! Except it is now one day away.
That's right.
It is tomorrow.
Yes, take that 6, make it a 1 tomorrow. But yeah, so what's cool and what I wrote in the publisher's note was that these events, they've always felt very special, but the last couple ones, there was something a little bit more. The energy was there. Not only was it great weather and the venues were cool, but it just seemed like the smiles were bigger. It seems like, the hugs and the handshakes were firmer. The conversations were louder. The energy was up. And, our North DFW one was close to 300 people there. And it was just, what I kind of realized too was through this whole pandemic where we've been kind of stuck behind closed doors on our phones, Zoom in, not a lot of face-to-face interactions, maybe on small meetings, but there hasn't been a lot of big style events, right? And so when we had that event, I think a lot of people not only, had it been a few months, and so people were looking forward to it, but I think it was just, there was such a desire, and people through that time, I know myself included, realized, man, I think we all know we need human connection, but it was like, no, I need it. And it was like people who came to that event and it was just, you could tell they were so much more excited. I think the beautiful blessing that COVID kind of gave us was that I think it's easy to take granted things in life. And that's one of the things we took for granted, which is being in community, being in connection with people. And what COVID allowed us to do, and what we noticed at that event was, man, we appreciate it at a whole different level. And that's what I love about the events that we have is we get to bring people together, and especially in a time when that's not a common thing anymore. It's becoming more common again, right? But it wasn't. And so I don't know if you guys felt that, but I thought that just the energy at those events were just some of the best I've ever been at.
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jordan, they're one of my favorite authors. I was an English major. So Herman Melville, the guy that wrote Moby Dick, he just one quote out of many, but he says, 1,000 fibers connect us with our fellow man. And I think for a year we felt that those fibers kind of being strained, and to be able to pull those back together and feel the power of those and realize how interconnected we are. And what I love about our community, particularly as we're talking to agents and they're telling us, they're talking about the people that they love and work with. And you realize how many of those people are the same people that are working with other top agents, and how interconnected, and how people that are in tune to that and really respond to that power of connection, they thrive in this environment. And I think that's what really strengthens our community is the people that show up. They're there because they are true relationship people. And 2020 taught us the power of relationship. It tested a lot of them. And it also made us crave that contact and that connection. And so when we can really get together and those relationships are solid and strong, and we can now have this platform to build on it, man, it just feels right. And it does create a whole different level of energy.
Yeah, I can't say how many agents I've met with that are so excited about the events that we throw for them, the top producers in the top businesses. They are just, especially like what you're saying, Lance, after 2020, so excited. But even just on the note again, that this is an exclusive community and they're connecting with their peers in that top 1% to 2%, the best of the best in real estate, best agents, best businesses. There's so much excitement and so much to learn and glean from one another, inspire, challenge, but also, again, help take one another's businesses to the next level. And that's one thing I love about our community. It's very rare I come across, for example, a top agent who's like wanted to hold all their cards. The majority that I meet with just want to help one another and want to see each other thrive and just grow. And so it's just, again, an amazing community with an incredible heart just to help one another. I wouldn't describe, it's not a community of competition. I say that all the time. It truly is a community of, hey, there's enough to go around. I can't tell you how many times, even in this market, that I've heard agents say that, hey, we can still help one another. And so it truly is a unique community of DFW's real estate best.
Yeah, what's great too, we hear from agents all the time at the events. I remember, I forget who I was talking to at my last event, but I was talking with an agent. Another agent came up. They were going to have a conversation with me, and then they looked at each other and they started talking, and they're like, "Wait, are you?" And they look at each other's names. Like, "Oh my God! Like you sold my mom!" Like it was like there was some crazy connection between the two of them, and then they just started like hitting it off, have this great conversation, and what I hear from agents from time to time, or all the time, is that they work with these agents, especially these top agents. They're working together more frequently than other agents, and when they don't get to meet each other very often, they don't even necessarily, they know the name, maybe they have a quick phone call or something like that, and I just hear all the time, they're like, when we get to meet them, we get to know them, we get to have conversations with them. Not only do they can build like alliances, they can make their connections, but the transaction goes so much smoother with those agents when they know each other and they understand each other and they trust each other. And so we hear agents all the time that they just love the connection that they're making at these events with their peers. And it's kind of rare, to get those connections these days, unfortunately.
Yeah, on that note too, even as a partner, going into it initially for my sake, in sort of a scarcity mindset. And you mentioned that I sponsored the event, and that was in some ways to kind of mark my territory. I had to be the big dog on the screen. And then when I realized that there was, as Rachelle said, more of a community of collaboration, healthy competition, but knowing that the other inspection companies were vetted professionals. This is a vetted group of businesses. They've all been referred by top agents. And so knowing that they're doing something really well that I could learn from, and maybe they could learn from me, and we could have a conversation that was collaborative and continue just to raise the bar in our industry, it was refreshing. It was like, okay, you can let your guard down, have genuine conversations, and begin to build relationships. And when you have those relationships, and those relationships are intertwined, and there is that connective thread, between, professionals, the community benefits, the real estate community benefits. So it really does have this great halo effect on what we do. And I think that's the power of it. It really is just an environment where there's just constant growth, and we're just we're just watering it and fertilizing it.
Lance, I want to jump in on that, because I was just about to ask you guys this question, but you talk about collaborative, you talk about community and connection. And, when in whatever industry you're in, and every industry has, the good apples and the bad apples. But when you hold things close to your vest, like Rachelle talked about, and then you have that mentality, I'm going to share my knowledge. I'm going to share my experience. I'm going to help others be as good as they can be. How does that impact the public perception of that particular industry? Isn't that important? Doesn't that really help the value and help everybody get stronger? If everybody looks at a particular industry and goes, man, they're just awesome people. They're truly professional. Isn't that important? And isn't that what you guys are bringing, you're bringing out the best in that?
Yeah, Lance, I don't know if you want to touch on that, but
well, yeah, I think what you just said, Lyndon, there's so many different ways that when I think about the value of what we do and the relationships that are facilitated. And I always brag that, Jordan is the Ryan Seacrest of real estate. You see him at our events, and people are in line wanting to take a picture with him. But it's because he has facilitated so many great connections that have changed the trajectory of people's lives. So you get a great business and a great agent put together, and suddenly they have solved a problem for a client, and that has changed, and that led to referrals, and that just created a chain of events for people that changed potentially a lot of people's lives, whether that be just the people in the transaction and the dollars that were generated, or the people that they were able to help with those dollars. I think of so many of our partners that are so generous and that do great things with the dollars that they make, and they do good with the money that they have. So I think that is a big value, but also, when you've got a room for professionals and that becomes the standard, then it kind of creates a little bit of a wave through the rest of the industry that, like, I probably need to get my stuff together and be doing things a little bit differently if I'm going to participate in this market, because The people that are truly doing the most business, they're doing it a certain way. They're doing it with integrity, and they're doing it through collaboration that is raising the bar for everybody. And
Exactly.
And in this market too, when it's such a man, it's tough. It is a seller's market. It's low inventory. True professionals are helping their clients, and there's folks out there that are getting taken advantage of for not working with those folks. So I think it just is almost a safety net too for our clients.
Right.
And I'll hop in there too and just say as well, like one thing when I'm meeting, with the best in the real estate industry here, like businesses and agents, that they're excited about. Yes, they're excited about the masterminding, collaborating, and helping take each other's businesses to the next level. But they're also just, again, excited about friendship. And that's one thing I love seeing at the events and the things we do, just making connections between people like, hey, you need to meet so-and-so. You have some similar hobbies. Like you guys will become friends, and just seeing those friendships form, between agents, between top businesses and agents, people of our community, which again are the best in real estate. But just seeing those friendships forms makes me happy, because everybody, again, you need community, you need your friends.
Yeah.
You need those, especially who, as I've spoken to top agents, I'll just speak specifically with them, where they have a lot of relationships, but they're more so mentor relationships. But the thing they're so excited about being a part of the Real Producers community is, oh my goodness, like I get to have, friendship, be invited to this community and make friends with those of my caliber, those that are, again, running the same pace as me, that we can just spur and inspire and challenge one another. And so I think that that's just another wonderful thing that has come from this. Friendships all around, from DFWs, again, real estate best, both agents and businesses, the people a part of it. And that's one thing I'll piggyback off of that too and say is, again, one thing we're huge on, especially through the magazine as well, is yes, we want people to hear about the business side, glean from the wisdom advice. Why have they been so successful, both these businesses and agents, but also get to know the personal side, get to know the human behind the business. And so it's just, I think it's just another wonderful thing.
Yeah, it's so valuable. Everyone knows connection is important. I've always said, like, I've never gone to a networking event that I haven't walked away. I was like, I'm really glad I went, because I went to a networking event one time. There was 3 people there, and it turned out awesome. It was a great connection, and it was, What I love, again, a little biased towards Real Producers, but what's great about the people that are a part of Real Producers is when you connect with people that are part of our community. Some of these agents, they're the most well-connected people in sometimes like their area, and the businesses are some of the most well-connected people. And you make a connection. Sometimes you make a connection with just one of them. Even if you don't start working with that person directly, the connections, the spider web that can go from that person who knows this person who connects with this person, and it goes into this crazy spider web. And the people that are part of our community, is just the connections you can make through them. It's huge. It's massive. And that's what excites me about what we created.
Well, they have an understanding, Jordan. They didn't get where they are today by not understanding how to produce and create and make things happen. And so there's a big difference sometimes when you go to a networking event and you connect with someone, and then you're able to convert that connection into a strategic partnership that actually produces results. And I think that that's something that we all need to understand, because going and shaking somebody's hand and exchanging a business card doesn't guarantee that your business is going to improve next week, next month, next year. But the people that, because you don't just maybe allow is not the right word, but you have to be a high producing person. You have to be a high achiever, right? You have to make stuff happen. I'll use the S word, but I'll use stuff. You have to make stuff happen in order to be considered to be a part of that family and that community, right? And so it becomes a lot easier for me to grow my business if I'm around people that understand how to grow businesses. And that's what Real Producers is all about.
Yeah. Love it. I heard Rachelle say it really eloquently one time, and I'm not going to hit it right, but it gave me chills the way she said it. She said, you're essentially just one relationship away from potentially changing your life. And that one person that you might meet at one of our events, they're going to be a certain caliber already. It's a vetted group. So that connection can be so powerful. So it never rang truer than the way that Rachelle said that one time to me, like, wow, there is such power in this community. And we have, Rachelle and I get to do this a lot. Of course, Jordan does too, but get to be matchmaker. The meetings that we have with our agents and to our partners, and then to call our partner or to send a connection email that just says, hey, you guys have to meet. That's exciting. Randy White, I called him right before this podcast. He was our April feature, and he's like, how are you doing, man? And I'm like, I'm great. He goes, you seem to be great. You just seem to be having a blast. And I'm like, I got to tell you, this is the most fun I've ever had. It is. It's like matchmaking on fire, and to see that people that I love and people that I've met and respect, to be able to introduce them to each other and to do great things, man, you can't help but be inspired by that and be motivated.
Well,
fun.
we get to know, these top agents, both business-wise and personally. We're getting to know them. And then we also know the people behind these top businesses, them personally, and, how they're operating, the way they do things. And you're right, Lance, it's easy to make matches that we think will work because we're like, hey, you guys are going to get along, or what you're speaking to, you need to connect with this person. And so it's again, great being a part of the community and just getting to know one another. And speaking to what Jordan was saying, I was not biased coming into Real Producers when I first heard what was happening here and was presented with perhaps the opportunity of working a part of DFW's Real Producers, and looking from the outside and not hearing of Real Producers coming from East Texas and the country there, more so the country. I had a frank conversation. I asked a top agent some pointed questions about the community here because I had no idea. Do top agents, do real estate agents like this? I asked some of those questions before joining because I really had no idea. I hadn't been to an event. I just heard from you, Jordan. And I have to say, again, I'm not biased, but what I heard there from that top agent was pretty awesome. Hearing about what's been developed and grown here, and the agents love being a part. This agent loves being a part of the community. And then again, coming to an event for myself in the fall, putting the feelers out there, seeing what's going on. Speaking to what you said earlier, Lance, I was just shocked. I'm like, oh my goodness, Jordan is like a celebrity to these agents. And again, it goes to the community that's been created, and it hasn't been done before. And it's fulfilling such a huge need for the best of the best in the industry here. Who doesn't want their own community of professionals in that top 1% to 2% that have been vetted? And again, it's not a popularity contest, which all of us know, and perhaps people watching know that a lot of top agents are used to that. And frankly, are tired of that. And they want something real. They want something authentic and something exclusive and embedded for them. And again, it's just, so I had to speak to that, Jordan, hearing your bias. Well, hey, I wasn't biased coming in, but I'm a believer. I'm a believer now, having, of course, talked to that top agent before joining and then seeing it firsthand myself and being a part of the community. It truly is awesome. And I'm excited to celebrate the launch of a new community, Terrence, tomorrow in Real Producers.
Well, one of the funnest stories and one of the funnest interviews that I've had was with Nina Henderson. She's in our May. And her story is all about creating a community. She moved here 5 years ago, from out of the country, and moved to Arlington, and just one relationship at a time built a community and built a sphere of influence in 5 years that got her to be in the top 500. And I think there's a lot of our agents that they operate the same way. They have built this community. They poured themselves out to other people. And so one thing that they love about our community is they're in a community of folks that are like-minded, that have done just that. So it is such a warm environment, and I love that our partners get to be a part of that, because they really are stepping into a warm blue ocean of community and collaboration.
And whether you're a realtor on the rise, like we call it, someone 5, 7, 10, 15 years in, upwards there, or you're someone who's a rising star, who we call someone 2, 4, 5 years in the beginning of their real estate career, there's something to learn. Those realtors on the rise that are new, and they have something fresh, a fresh perspective, something new to bring. And those that have been in it a while as well have things to share. And so it's just neat, seeing and hearing the different things from people along their journey and how they can learn from one another.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think what we've all learned here today is that one relationship can change your life. And I can look back. I think we all can look back at our own life, and you can. I think it was Steve Jobs that said you can look back into your life and see that all the dots connect. And I look at just the relationship with Heidi Marsh, that one agent connecting me with Rachelle. I look back before I was in Real Producers, and I went to an event and I connected with a lady who was involved with St. Louis Real Producers, and she brought me into Real Producers. That wouldn't have happened if I didn't meet my buddy Brett at a personal development seminar years before that. And it was like, you look at just how one connection changes everything. And that's our goal with Real Producers, is to keep facilitating connections so that people can keep changing lives and serving more people and moving forward in life. And that's what it's all about. And, I'm excited that I got connected with each and every one of you guys. It's been a fun ride, and I'm just excited to see where this crazy thing called Real Producers goes in the next couple of years, because it's gonna be super fun.
Yeah, and I have to say too, Jordan, like if we had time, we could go into stories, because we're hearing it. It's not just, certainly it is a continued goal, but it's not just a goal. We're hearing it from RP vetted businesses and just the connections they're making. We're hearing it from top agents, a part of the Real Producers community, and just how excited they are with the connections they're making and being a part of the community. And so it's happening. And like you said, I'm also excited for just the future growth. I mean, the community truly is flourishing, and it's exciting seeing where it's heading, and it's exciting the expansion. Again, shout out to tomorrow.
Exactly. Yes, it is exciting. And I can't wait. I can't wait for tomorrow. I can't wait for just what's to come. And I don't know if you guys have anything else. Landon, if you have any thoughts as we wrap up this here podcast, but that was great.
Name me one business that ever grew without making more connections. It's completely and utterly impossible to grow your business if you don't make more connections, whether it's customers, whether it's vendors, whether it's, you have to expand through people. That's the only way to do it. And, when for some of us, it's hard, so there's some shy people out there. There's some, it's difficult sometimes in this world to go out and meet new people and not know who you are. And you guys facilitate that better than anybody I've ever seen, because you give that warm introduction. You make it where everybody wants to shake someone's hand and introduce themselves. And with your magazine, with the shows that you do, with the things that you do, it's almost like a lot of times you already know the person before you ever get a chance to meet them face to face. And that is powerful in itself. So again, kudos to you guys, because it's being a fan of Real Producers and being able to watch from the sidelines. It is so cool to watch everything you're doing.
Cool. Thanks, London.
That,
I have something that's come to my mind. Is there might be some people watching, both people who are agents and businesses, perhaps, that are tuning in and are wondering, like, oh my goodness, I would love to be a part of this community. How do you become a part of this community? How do you vet your agents and your businesses? So that might be something we want to touch on.
Yes. Well, it's very, very exclusive. And that's a secret that we cannot share. No, so I was talking to a business this morning, and we meet with business all the time. And again, for those that are a part of Real Producers, there's two sides. There's the business side and there's the agent side. And I think you guys know, the agents are all, it's not something they buy into. If they're in the top 500 based off their MLS production, they get the publication. They get to be a part of it, not something that they pay for. There's a million different pay-to-play models out there, and that you can pay to get this logo or pay to get featured. These agents are kind of tired of that whole song and dance. And so what the agents appreciate is that exclusivity we've built based off of production levels, and it's not something you buy your way into. On the agent or on the vendor side, I tell we get reached out to all the time by businesses that want to be a part of Real Producers. Hey, like, I'd love to be part of your community. Be a partner. And it's like, okay, first, hold your horses. Let's get us a recommendation from a top producing agent or more that you work with that vouches for you. That's like the first step of that vetting process, right? You must come to us and be working with the highest producing agents in the market. And then from there, we'd like to have a conversation with you, and to see if, not just because you work with a top agent does not mean you're a perfect fit for us. And we do have some different things that we're looking for with the businesses that we meet with to make sure that we feel comfortable recommending you guys to the different top producing agents that are out there. You businesses are an extension of the Real Producers brand, just like you guys are an extension of the agents brand that you work with. And so it's very important that we hold the integrity of the businesses that partner with us. And quite frankly, we've let go of businesses before. If you don't meet the standard, you're going to get cut, and it's very important for us to hold that. And and the agents, the businesses, they appreciate that level of detail that we take, the authenticity, the exclusivity, the vetting process that we take with not just the agents, but the businesses that partner with us. So when you come into the Real Producers world, we're talking best agents, most highly recommended and vetted businesses in the market, and man, there is nothing better than the Real Producers community.
Amen.
Any other thoughts, ladies and gentlemen? Should we just mic drop and head out? Is that it?
Boom.
Yeah, I don't know if you can do any better than that. I mean, that was pretty solid.
Well, always a pleasure having both of you guys on. I'll be on next week with a great partner, a great agent. So tune in. Real Producers. Man, we got Tarrant going tomorrow, 5 to 7. If you're a vetted business partner for Tarrant, if you're a top 500 agent with Tarrant, man, get your butt over there. It's going to be awesome. TNP Tavern. Cannot wait. And,
how do they register?
Well, you can reach out to any of us. Reach out to any of us here. We'll get you the link to register because we don't let that link go floating around. It's exclusive. Everything with Real Producers is that way. And so if you want to get registered, reach out to us. We'll get you on. And we're really looking forward to it. And I always got to give a shout out to Landon for putting this show together. Does a fantastic job for allowing us to create the community even in a cooler and unique way, expanding our reach. And for businesses, agents that are looking for another unique way to get your message out, to facilitate connections in a cool, fun way, man, Landon at Thedifference, again, thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. We will see you next week. Same time, same place.
See you later.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.